RuneScape has changed much in the 20 years since its initial release. Many of us long for that magical experience it provided when we first started playing. My quest is to recreate that experience by playing a time-locked Ironman. In order to progress forward in time, I'll have to experience all of the content as it is released on a month-to-month basis. My name is Kudabear, and welcome to Time Traveller Ironman. The final quest that was released at the very end of January 2001 is actually Vampire Slayer. Yeah, this isn't gonna work. Unfortunately, it's regenerating too fast for me. So for now, back to the chickens. Need to get a few more stats in order to be able to take on that vampire. Hello everyone, and welcome back to episode 2 of Time Before, the Time Traveling Ironman. Today we'll work towards completing January 2001, which includes finally beating Vampire Slayer, as well as achieving the best in slot equipment that we needed for this month. But for now, here I am slaughtering chickens, getting those stats up. Gotta get stronger. So regarding melee, the best weapon that I'll have access to is actually an adamant sword. I could get a mithril scimitar, but an adamant sword is the same speed and slightly better, so I'll be going ahead and getting that from the Varrock sword shop. That'll cost me 2080 GP. For the armor, the main pieces I'm going to be getting are the adamant full helm, 3520 GP from the helmet shop in Barbarian Village, the mithril plate body, 5200 from Horvik in Varrock, and adamant plate legs, 6400 from the shop in Alcarid. Now herein lies one of the most notable and probably biggest excessive grinding exceptions I'm going to be making on the progress of this account. When RuneScape was first released in January of 2001, smithing was actually pretty feature complete, and you could smith all the way up to adamant and also mine the ore, obviously. However, the best smithing methods I have available to me right now are extremely slow, and it would take me thousands of hours to be able to unlock that at this point. Ultimately, it's not that interesting to have that equipment. The equipment that I can buy from shops is just a tiny bit worse, and it's so much more obtainable. This is why I'm not going to require adamant smithing, or for that matter, when runite smithing comes out in a few months, as part of my goal set. It just would take way too long, it's not very interesting, and it doesn't provide a lot of progression for the account anyway. This will be a general trend for skills that have things that are available at high levels, but only produce items that are available from shops or other alternative sources. They're not going to be required as part of the series. So even with that considered, I'm still going to need 17,200 GP in order to get all of the equipment that I need to move on to the next month. That's a significant amount of money with the methods I have available to me. So one more chicken, and I'll have 5 defense. So I got 10 attack and 5 defense. Let's see if it's enough this time, though I also only have chicken. I can't tell if the chicken's any worse than the kebabs, though, because that dodgy kebab really ruined my chances. Alright, here we go. Round number 2. I may have died to a tree. I was never cut out to be a hardcore Ironman. I also noticed that I've missed a lot of RuneLite features that I just kind of took for granted and didn't even really notice they were there and out of the ordinary, including the status bars on the side of my inventory here. So I think I've gone ahead and disabled all the ones I could think of that would benefit me in some way, but I've probably missed 1 or 2 here or there. So if you see something that's still like a RuneLite feature that I probably shouldn't have enabled, just let me know and I'll disable it for the next time. And also, this place is deadly. So I was really hoping to complete the Vampire Slayer quest as early as possible, as the attack experience reward would be extremely beneficial and save a lot of time. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's going to happen before 20 attack and a mithril scimitar. So I'm going to go ahead and kill goblins now. I should be able to kill them pretty effectively with my stats. They'll drop a little bit of money, and on my way to 20 attack, I should hopefully get a little bit more money. I need about double this in order to get the mithril scimitar. A clue scroll, which I will not be able to pick up or complete for a long time. Also, unfortunately, the goblin mail wasn't released until May, and it's one of the main sources of money from these guys because they sell for like 20 coins each, so that's unfortunate. Here we go. There's a small upgrade, not the clue scroll. The bronze square shield. Totally missed it, but that was 20 attack right there. So popping in the scimitar store here, it looks like the mithril scimitar costs 1060. I'd have to find a world that has stock, and I can sell this for 220, putting me up to about 940. So I'm just a little bit less than 100 coins away from being able to afford that. So I think it's worth going for. I was actually reminded of an ancient moneymaker. If you talk to this guy. He'll sell you silk for 3 GP each. You can sell that in Varrock for 16 GP each. So it's a decent moneymaker for this early on in the game mode as well as in the account. Yeah, you can get 2 GP if you go through a bit more dialogue. And then bringing the silk up to the clothes shop here in Varrock, it's bought for 16 coins, and I believe it drops, does it drop any? 15? That's not too bad. 13? 12? Yeah, I'll just sell it all. That works. So, a really decent amount of money just from that. And while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and pick up a leather body. Again, another little tiny armor upgrade, but it technically did exist back in the day. Alright, huge upgrade here. Go ahead and sell the steel scimitar. Buy the mithril. That's incredible. That's a huge upgrade, and now I should have no problem killing the vampire. Just gonna stop over and get some more kebabs, and then we'll go give it another shot. Alright, hopefully the last attempt here. This should be a lot easier with this upgrade. Didn't even have to eat one food. It's kind of weird how scaling works like that in this game. But that 4,825 attack experience will be extremely useful, all the way up to 26 attack from that, which is incredible because I only need 30 for all my best in slots for this month. And that actually concludes the final quest that was released in January 2001. Oh, this is painful. Bye, Genie. Obnoxiously, none of the clips that I've recorded over the last 10 minutes had audio, but all that really happened was I got 30 attack at the goblins and resold my mithril scimitar to the shop as I no longer need it. I'll be buying an adamant sword soon enough. That does, however, mean that I am basically done with all of the quests and training that I need to do for this month. The rest of the training I need to do is pretty much just in defense. I need to get up to 30 defense so that I can equip the adamant armor that I need to attain. So really, the next big question is, how am I going to make that 17,000 and change that I need to buy all of the best equipment that was released? I really have 3 main money-making methods. I could do silk trading here in Alcarid, I could kill monsters, or I can do mining and smithing. The silk trading method is decent, it's consistent, but it's very slow. It's about 250 gold pieces per trip to Varrock, and it doesn't provide any additional account progression in the form of experience and stats, so I don't think I'll be going that way. Killing monsters would provide me a lot of progression, however, the only monsters I can really kill for money are goblins, men and women, Alcard guards, and hill giants. Hill giants are decent enough for money, however, I don't really have the ability to kill them efficiently until I actually acquire the gear that I need, so it kind of defeats the purpose. So therein lies the strategy that I will be employing to obtain that 17,000, and that's mining and smithing. Now there are some complexities that come along with this that I'll have to go through. So when RuneScape was released, there was really only 3 mining locations that were available. There was the West Varrock mine, the East Varrock mine, and the Alcarid mine. The copper and tin mine to the south of Lumbridge had not been released yet, so I'm not going to be using that one. Furthermore, the only 2 furnaces that existed was the one in Lumbridge and the one in Alcarid. The only anvils that existed were in Varrock. This is actually really unfortunate because that bronze anvil in Lumbridge would be extremely useful, as well as the anvil in Alcarid that was added by the old Clan Wars location, but I'm not going to be using either of these, as well as they would be providing massive convenience benefits that weren't released at the time. So that effectively means that I will be mining probably at the East Varrock mine for my copper and tin, going all the way down to Alcarid or Lumbridge for the smelting, and then back up to Varrock for the smithing. And then I can sell my goods to shops in Varrock and repeat the process until I have all the money I need. The Alcarid mine is likely more efficient, however, I don't have the combat level required to be able to survive the scorpions there. They'll keep attacking me until I'm 29 combat. Of course, at this point in time, I am effectively playing without a bank, so I am basically doing this as an ultimate Ironman who cannot run. An additional level of complexity is, when RuneScape was first released, there weren't tiers of pickaxes, there was just Pickaxe, which was about the strength of a bronze pickaxe we know today. I can't go to Asgarnia to buy a new pickaxe anyway, but even if I could, I'm stuck with a bronze until the new tiers of pickaxes are released, and I believe about 2 years' time from now. I have no idea how long it's going to take to get the 17,000 gold required, but I'm hoping it will at least provide some good smithing and mining gains, as those will be extremely useful moving forward. And now I hope it's pretty clear why I'm not requiring full adamant smithing as part of the goal for this month. It would take an enormous amount of time to achieve that goal with the restrictions I have, while not providing any major unlocks or benefits for the account. So the very first thing I'm going to be doing is just cleaning out my inventory. It would be more efficient to sell this stuff slowly, but ultimately it's not that much money, and it's not that useful to me. The most useful thing will be a totally clear inventory, other than the coins, of course. And now you see why I sold the Mithril Scimitar now, as the Bronze Pickaxe can be equipped, and that'll save me an additional inventory space. Taking a stop here at Bob's Brilliant Axes to buy the Bronze Pickaxe, which I will be using for a long time. There's the first full inventory of tin and copper. And smelting here in Lumbridge. Smithing at AAvfx Anvil up here. First full inventory of bronze daggers, only up to 3 smithing, which is not very much. I'll probably either be selling to the sword shop here or to Horvik once I can create the higher level armors. And for now I'm not going to bother hopping using the lower level stuff because it's worth so little. When I get to iron I probably will start hopping. However, when RuneScape was first released I believe there were only 2 worlds. So I can only really hop between 2, but even just those 2 should help a lot. Just a few more items of bronze here, and that'll be 15 smithing. So now I can officially move on to iron, which is going to be amazing. As you can tell, even all the way up to 15, I only really made like a little less than 2k, so this is not great money doing bronze. Having to carry the tin and copper makes it extremely slow. I did get up to 20 mining already though, so that's pretty nice. So for mining iron, I'm probably actually going to mine it here. I feel like this is probably the best location for me to do so. Still walking down to the Lumbridge furnace and then back up to Varrock to actually smith. I'll actually drop the hammer as well to carry an extra iron, and then buy the hammer from the general store each time I go back to Varrock, because the fact that iron ore only allows you to smelt 50% of them into bars successfully means that I'll basically always have an empty inventory slot to buy that hammer back, so there's no reason to keep carrying it. There we go, real satisfying. Well, exactly 1, then less than half. I guess I had an odd number of ores, but you get the point. Alright, so finally got the ability to smith iron swords, which is great. The iron daggers are okay, they're 21 coins, but the iron swords are 54, which is more than double. And pretty much triple the bronze swords, which I think were like 18. So the money should start going up really quickly from here. Pretty decent milestone here. If I sell this last batch of iron swords, that puts me over the 10k cash stack, which means I'm well over halfway there. Need about 7,000 more gold. Currently up to 28 smithing and 34 mining. What is this, 9 bars in one trip? I don't even think I'm going to go all the way back to Varrock. I think I'm going to grab more iron before I head back up. Alright, one more thing to smith here, and that'll be a big milestone. 30 smithing, which allows me to smith steel and steel daggers. However, I'm not going to go ahead and start smithing those. The steel daggers are really only worth about double the amount of an iron sword, which is not necessarily worth going out of my way to get the coal, which will be a longer walk. And I'll also be able to carry only 9 bars per inventory. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with iron until 34 smithing, which is the level that you are able to smith steel swords, which are worth almost 200 coins each. That'll be much more viable than iron when I hit that point. However, I may also already have the money before I get there.
One eternity later.
So unfortunately, I just realized that the recording I had made pretty much from up to finishing the mining and smithing grind, getting my money and buying my equipment and training all the way up to almost complete, got corrupted, and I don't have any of it. But as you can see, I did get up to 32 smithing, 38 mining from the money grind. I was able to purchase the mithril plate body, adamant plate legs, and full helmet, and I'm basically done training my melees. And there we go, there's 30 defense. I am able to equip adamant armor. Alright, equipping the adamant armor. Amazing. Pretty much best in slot for the time period. Again, technically, full adamant, including a better adamant weapon, was smithable. However, It would take me way too much time to get there and not provide that much content. This is more akin to the gear that someone would have probably had in January of 2001. Here are the final stats, ending up at 21 prayer and 34, almost 35 combat, which is pretty nice. I did all of the melee training here at the Alcarad Warriors. They're a really convenient place to do that because they're one of the only places that actually has an aggressive feature related with them. So they actually gang up on you and allows you to AFK a little bit longer, which is pretty nice. And then I can buy food from the kebab shop right around the corner, which makes it extremely useful to train here. Apparently these leather boots existed in January 2001, and I didn't even think to check until right now, so that's one more best in slot item too. But we're not quite done yet. There's actually one more thing to do, and it's to visit Edgeville and the Edgeville dungeon. That was an area that was released that I didn't actually find use for, at least to progress through this month. But they do have a leather glove spawn, so I'll pick those up and put those on. Another small best in slot upgrade. Let's go ahead and go down into the dungeon. Not the most useful dungeon in the world. There is a secret wall here, in case you didn't know, though. Just a room with a gold spawn, I guess. Wow, how many coins is that? That's a lot of coins for a gold spawn. 4 coins. A mine down here, which is actually the only mine in the game that had adamant rocks on release. The Alcarad mine was the second place added after that. And here's the last thing, and arguably the most useful in this dungeon, the hill giants. These would have been potentially nice to kill, but I didn't necessarily get strong enough to really kill them effectively up until now. Plus they're pretty far from a food source, at least the ones that I have available to me. So it definitely wasn't worth killing right now. The other problem with them is that big bones don't get released for quite a while, so I wouldn't get any prayer by killing these guys. The other drops are decent for money though. There we go. This would have been the highest level mob to grind, and the second highest level mob, I believe, other than Count Draenor, who I've already killed. So, pretty good. I just realized by habit I picked up the bones, and I can't do that. Now, even though I have achieved the goals for this episode, there are a couple of features I haven't explored yet that I should go ahead and give a try. One of those is actually to chop a tree and burn it, which is not something I've done yet.
Look what I have created! I have made fire! I have made fire!
Gotta go ahead and grab the short bow and just a handful of bronze arrows from the ranging shop here in Varrock. And then we'll just grab a handful of runes here from the rune shop. Another interesting fact, the armor didn't actually decrease your accuracy with ranged and magic weapons. It does now, so I'll go ahead and remove it. But you could actually range and mage in full armor with no downside. Another interesting mechanic with ranged, though, was that you couldn't range if you were in melee combat with a creature, so like I couldn't stand here and range the chickens, I'd have to train behind the fence. It's just kind of interesting mechanic changes that happened over time. And then, of course, magic. Boop. Definitely a little bit more useful. Probably could play with it a little bit more this month. However, in just a few months, there is a massive magic expansion, so I'll be able to explore it much more then. And that unfortunately means that this is the end of our very first month here in the world of Gaelanor. I have officially beaten RuneScape for January 2001. Got a lot more work ahead of us. Looking forward to moving on to February. Just out of curiosity, at the end of every month, I want to go ahead and talk to Hans here and see how long it took me to do that, just to see what it would have been like to play through the game at that particular point in time. And it looks like I have been here for 20 hours and 38 minutes, so it took me about just over 20 hours to complete the game so far. Most of that was spent mining and smithing. It was real slow, probably less than 1k gold per hour, though it would speed up now that I am very close to being able to do steel swords, which are pretty good. The experience in each as well was like less than a k, which is pretty bad. Melees are much faster. I got pretty close to 10k experience per hour there, so it really flew by. It was mostly the mining and smithing money grind. So unfortunately, this is where you and I part ways for this month. I will see you next month for February 2001. Hope you're enjoying the series so far. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you do, and I will see you soon. Take care.